Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things ready through a common sense lens. And you know, it's one of them situations, boys and girls, where I remember a time not so very long ago where there was a producer's son who let the cat out of the bag about one person pushing their political agenda over there at the Walt Disney Company, whose dad literally had to fly out, aka this young lady's boss, had to fly out to New York to try to get her to tell her to shut up and sit down and stop promoting all of her political agenda stuff when it came to promoting the movie she was actually getting paid to promote. Well, boys and girls, as we know, goes over there at the Disney Corporation. If they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all. And I remember not too long ago where one particular lady, actually from the Star Wars universe, got fired for putting her political opinion on her own personal Instagram account, not related to the promotion of anything. But like I said, of course, that's not going to go the same way for the Hollywood darling and overused abomination that is Pedro Pascal. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, he's come out there and done it again. Yes, Marvel MCU's Mr. Fantastic, aka Reed Richards, and the upcoming Fantastic Four movie is now saying that the United States of America is a police state, boys and girls. And last I checked, I don't think you'd even actually be able to say that in a police state, but I digress. Don't believe me? Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Fantastic Four actor Pedro Pascal shares video describing the United States as a secret police state. Oh yes, boys and girls, to all of his millions of followers on Instagram, he's trying to convince these people in America out there that they actually live in a police state where they can't go out and voice their opinions. They can't go out there and work the jobs they want to work. They can't go out there and make millions upon millions of dollars inside of the Hollywood bubble and have giant blockbuster movies coming out this July. No, you can't do that if you disagree with the current regime. Oh, wait. That's exactly what they're doing, and yet somehow we live in a police state. I don't know, boys and girls, I'm just a common sense nerd. It doesn't make any sense to me at all either, but we're going to check out all of the juicy details of what our dear sweet Pedro Pascal's argument about us being in a police state is. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1900. We're sailing our way towards 2K once again, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below letting know what you think about this. Does it surprise you at all that Pedro Pascal is still out there being able to spout all of his crazy propaganda, PC lies, nonsense garbage, while other people obviously got fired and lost their jobs for doing the exact same thing? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below, and let us know what you think about all the double standards in Hollywood as well. And if you do enjoy our content and like to help support our channel, please check out the links in the description down below where you can become a member of this channel, get your name at the end credits of every single one of our videos, all of our live streams, get access to a bunch of cool emojis, and of course help come do our member streams that we do the second Saturday of every month, where you get to come hang out with me and a bunch of other cool nerds and hang out and chit chat about all the kind of nerdy stuff that you would like to. So please consider that down below. All right, from Fandom Pulse and our dear sweet John F. Trent. Pedro Pascal, who plays Reed Richards in Marvel's upcoming Fantastic Four film, as well as Din Djarin in the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu film. That's right, this isn't just a Marvel actor, this is a Star Wars actor, in case anybody's forgot. Fortunately enough, we don't have to rag on HBO anymore for hiring this insane guy, and that was back before he decided to spout all of his nonsense and vitriol all over the internet. So hey, guess what? You put things out there into the world and you suffer the consequences for it, Pedro. At least from all of us out there in the fans, which is one of the many reasons why Fantastic Four is not going to do well at the box office besides Marvel Burnout, but we'll get to that in July when it comes out. Recently shared a video describing the United States as a secret police state. Oh, the horror at the secret police state. Oh, okay. Pascal shared a New York Times opinion video made by Marcia Ginson that claims the United States is a secret police state to his Instagram stories. So obviously fully supporting absolutely everything this person says because you shared it on your social media platform. Isn't that the standard, guys? Pedro, isn't that the standard? If you share something on your social media platform, platform, that means you're fully endorsing it, because I'm pretty sure I remember those were your guys' standards when you tried to go out there and cancel people. So as far as I'm concerned, these words come just as much out of Pedro Pascal's mouth as it does this freak of nature, Masha Ginson. I don't know. There's some LGBTQ alphabet soup mafia activist. So, hey, that tells you everything you probably need. And once you see the picture, you'll completely understand what I get from. And shout out to my boy Griffin out there in the chat as well while we were recording these videos Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time at the morning prep. Come hang out with us. But like he pointed out, he's like, I've heard this person's writing before. Yeah, they're 100% an insane, absolute activist, trans, socialist, everything you want, every alphabet soup check box, communist nonsense garbage box you want to check. Yeah, they're one of those people advocating. This is one of those champagne socialists, right? They write for the New York Times, but I'm so oppressed. I'm so oppressed. Well, I have my wine in my $10,000 a month apartment here in New York City. Oh, I'm so oppressed. Like, these people are pathetic, dude. Seriously, go out into some of the poorest areas of this country. Go out into rural America and tell me how oppressed you are and what kind of secret police state you live in. But like I said, this is the person. I mean, do we really even need to comment, right? I mean, we can just kind of look at this, and I mean, you'd probably walk into a room and immediately go, yep, that's one of them. That's the spirit of the age possessed cultist. It's weird. It's weird. It's almost like the things you are inside really can't rot you all that. I mean, it's like Emperor Palpatine syndrome, right? It's like being too close to the dark side and your skin starts to wrinkle and your eyes start to turn red and it's like, rah! Why is it? Maybe it's all the soy they eat. Maybe they're all vegans. I don't get it. I don't understand. But just explain to me why you can identify them from like a distance. I just don't get it. It's weird. It's freaky. It's unnatural. It's creepy. And we know they're living a lie, so it's okay. In the video, Genshin, who is an LGBTQ plus alphabet soup mafia propagandist, states, I've lived in a police state, and this is what it's like. It's the catastrophic interruption of daily life. It's the forced mass transport of immigrants. Oh, you mean those criminals? Those illegal aliens? Yeah, those people? Yeah, not exactly your traditional immigrants now, are they? It's not like they came through Ellis Island and we're shipping them back. Not exactly the same thing now, is it? But of course, that isn't allowed inside of your little New York bubble. It's catastrophic interruption of daily life. It's the forced mass transport of immigrants. It's the growing irrelevance of the law and helplessness of the judges and lawyers. Oh, you mean those judges out there that violate their constitutional oaths by, trying to literally make things up and literally rule and legislate from the bench like they've been doing for decades in the United States. You mean those kind of people? No. Of course you mean, Pedro, the kind of people that would, of course, actually, being Trump's people that are trying to stop those evil judges out there that are trying to stop the immigrants from being deported. Like, they're literally trying to stop, these judges out there are literally trying to stop criminals from being deported from our country. But no. It's just such an interruption in my daily life. Yeah, I'm sure it really affects you in your Manhattan corner apartment. It's the chilling stories that come by word of mouth. Oh, so hearsay. Okay, cool, hearsay. A state where there is no higher authority than the police. When the police make the laws. Last I checked, I still live in the United States, and my local police department doesn't make any laws. That still falls to my elected representatives and your local city council. So I don't know where you got that one, but okay. Enforce the laws. Well, yeah, that's kind of the police's job. Decide who goes to prison. Well, no, only if they find like actual evidence against them. But hey, we're just talking semantics at this point. Who gets deported? Well, anybody who's found here illegally, that's who gets deported. You're a criminal. That's just the police enforcing the law. And who stays at home for now? Oh, for now. Wow. Well, honestly, after all of that, that sounds a little bit more like your government totalitarian COVID lockdowns, which I'm sure you were fully in support of, weren't you, you freak of nature? I grew up in a police state. And when I was also an adult in Russia, that was becoming a police state. Oh, poor me. poor me. Let me tell you how bad I've had it as I sip on my fine 700-year-old wine that only there was ever 3 casks found and cost me more than you'll ever make in your lifetime. Oh, the horror. I'm so oppressed. I'm so oppressed. So many of the stories are about lists. Russia makes lists of foreign agents, which is basically a list of enemies of the people. Well, you're a foreign agent, so if you're in their country operating illegally and trying to essentially spy, you technically would be kind of an enemy of the people. When I see that, there are these organizations popping up, one after another. Organizations like Canary Mission, Stop Anti-Semitism. Well, what's wrong with stopping anti-Semitism? What's wrong with that? Which are maintaining lists, exchanging lists, or submitting lists to authorities. Oh, so private organizations are keeping lists of people that they think are probably anti-Semitic or maybe organizing violent protests. And then, hey, if they actually find some evidence, they're passing it on to the authorities. Wait, private organizations? I thought you said we were living in a police state. This isn't the FBI making lists. This isn't the CIA making lists, which we know they actually do and have. No. It's private organizations. So explain to me how that's a police state. Methinks your argument falls flat under scrutiny, just like all of the crazy leftist radicals' arguments always have, which is why they never actually want to debate anybody from the other side in an honest and true manner. Which are maintaining lists, exchanging lists, submitting lists to authorities, advocating for these people to be detained and deported. Well, if you're here illegally, you should be deported. That's how things go. And compare that to any other country on the planet's immigration laws, and I think you'll realize we're pretty fucking lax, okay? Let's be honest here. I'm immediately transported back to living in a police state and wondering, am I on the list? At this point, after having to read through this twice, yes, I actually really do hope you're on a list. And considering the kind of things that I've heard you advocate for, you probably are on somebody's list somewhere. And honestly, I was one of those things. I used to say this all the time. If you weren't on a government list during the Obama years, you were probably doing something wrong with your life. So take that for what you will. So another hallmark of a police state is that they're everywhere. When you hear that ICE is checking people's documents on the subway, that ICE has detained an American citizen, that ICE is outside a public library in New York City, you feel surrounded and stalked. Well, maybe this is only happening in New York City because where I live, I haven't seen any ICE people wandering around, and I live in South Texas where there's a significantly higher Hispanic population, I'd imagine, than good old New York City. And hey, by the way, in case you need a friendly reminder, your mayor, your Democrat mayor, Adams, over there in New York City, was on camera flat out saying, New York is full. Stop sending people here. He's the one that called ICE. He's the one cooperating with President Trump to get those people deported. So how about you blame your democratically elected mayor instead of trying to say, we live in a police state? Anyone can be a self-appointed enforcer. It can be your neighbor, another parent in your child's school, somebody you see while you're walking your dog. A police state really destroys connections between people by making everyone connection suspect. Oh, you mean like what all you freaks pushed for and advocated for during the lockdowns and with all the vaccinations and all of that kind of stuff, like the vaccine ID cards you needed to get into in order to sell or trade, the mark you needed in order to sell or trade? You mean like that? Yeah, methinks your claims fall on deaf ears of somebody who actually lived through 2020. These people are disgusting. These people are disgusting. Oh, and then this is where things get really fun. The most obvious adaptive strategy, the most human one, is to always look at what's happening to somebody and say, well, this is why it's not going to happen to me. So I'm not an activist. I'm not a student. I'm not a green card holder. I'm not undocumented. But I don't think that should be our logic. Oh, and if you guys know where that actually comes from, the actual poem, which is funny about this because apparently this freak of nature absolutely hates that poem. And I really, for the record, I hate that poem about Nazi Germany because I should hope that most of my fellow American citizens don't want to live in a police state, even if it's a police state that's not going to be dangerous to them personally. I don't care if criminals who break the law get what's coming to them. Don't like it? Don't break the law. I've broken the law in the past, and I got my punishments for it. I spent a lot of time dealing with that kind of stuff. So don't come at me asking for sympathy for illegal aliens, for illegal immigrants, because that's what they are. They did not come here the right way. They snuck across the border illegally. And guess what? A lot of them are violent criminals. I bet you don't want them living in your neighborhood. Now, do you? I.e., I don't know, what was it? Martha's Vineyard up there in New York or up there in the East Coast? Boy, they sure got rid of all of those illegal aliens real quick when they showed up on their doorstep. It's almost thinks you're just a hypocrite. Or maybe you're just virtue signaling for something you actually wouldn't put up with yourself. Like what we've seen all the times in the past. These are the opinions that Pedro Pascal supports. Your new Mr. Fantastic, your new Reed Richards in Marvel's Fantastic Four. This is the kind of stuff he pushes for. This is the kind of stuff he advocates for. This is the kind of stuff that he agrees with 100%. Because if he didn't, why else would he have put it on his social media after all? While we're still capable of looking, we have to say what we see, which is that the U.S. has become a secret police state, he concluded. Oh, really? Well, if they're such a secret police state, why haven't the Trump administration arrested you yet? Because that's exactly what this is, right? It's the old saying about how, like, I don't know, whatever it is, but it's basically between people that live in freedom and total government control, right? Totalitarianism versus anarchy, you know, freedom versus control. And it's always funny too, because, and I don't remember exactly how the old quote goes, but it's a good saying that I can kind of surmise here. Anyway, and essentially is what it is like they expect us to live up to our moral standards when they are in the weak position, right? When they are not in power. They expect us to play by the rules, right? To not, illegally detain people for years without a trial just because they entered a public building that was open to the public, that takes tours of the public, detaining them for years without them even see a lawyer, keeping them in solitary, doing those kind of things, right? But when the shoe's on the other foot, right, when we've got the power, they expect us not to do things like that. But as soon as they've got the power, just like what we saw in Washington, D.C., they don't respect any of that. And that's always the problem. But as soon as they're not in power anymore, they expect us to show them mercy. They expect us to show them leniency. They expect us to not use the full weight of the judicial system against them. And that's all that's happening. That's literally all we are doing. That's all the Border Patrol, all the ICE agents, anybody else that's involved in this stuff, all they are doing is enforcing the laws that are already on the books, passed by Democrats, passed by Republicans over decades and decades of American history. And you think that's a police state? Enforcing the laws that are already on the books? That just shows you how one of two things is true. Either this person is willfully ignorant of the reality of the actual world and how the United States operates, or they're disingenuous and nothing more than lying scum. I'll let you decide which one they are, but I think you probably have an idea on which one I lean. If the United States is really a secret police state, it's unlikely Green would be making his video, given all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, this isn't the first time Pedro Pascal has done this kind of thing before. A world without trans people never existed and never will, pushing all of the trans identity politics stuff. He put this right on his own post. Same thing with this one. This one, of course, back in 2020, after Donald Trump lost the election. He compared all of us to, the Confederacy and the losers from World War II. So, literally, it's the exact same kind of thing. This guy obviously agrees and is down for the spirit of the age and is willing to push the agenda. And this is who Disney Marvel hires. This is your new Reed Richards. This is your new Fantastic Four. And you know, it didn't used to matter so much if it wasn't for all of the double standards. If it wasn't for the fact that Gina Carano got fired for sharing even less. This guy has advocated for pushing lies and pushing disseverance and pushing destruction and pushing division in the United States of America ever since he realized it was okay for him to voice his political opinions. He has been pushing for literally the extermination and the erasure of the other side of the aisle, all simply because we disagree with them. And now he has them out there pushing these lies about the United States being a police state to his millions of followers, people that are probably young and influential teens and possibly even children. Then maybe think, hey, he's cool, he's Mando and Grogu. I love Grogu, I love Mando, that's so great. Ooh, I love Fantastic Four, I love Reed Richards, I love Pedro Pascal. He is influencing the culture by pushing this kind of nonsense and this agenda-driven garbage. And that's what he's going to keep on doing, because that's what Hollywood don't care. Why? Because Hollywood agrees with all of this stuff. Hollywood agrees with everything this person is saying because they are so out of touch. They are so locked in this little bubble in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York City, because that's all they know. And they live in a big place. They accuse us of being in groupthink. They accuse us of having echo chambers, where literally that's all they live. I pray to God Hollywood literally has to escape to somewhere else. All of these production houses and everywhere else have to spread themselves across the entire country, because once they get themselves out of these stupid coasts and actually get them back against normal, common sense people, they will realize that, guess what? Just because your little boy likes to play dress up with his sister doesn't mean he wants to cut his genitalia off, right? Just because somebody happens to hug their best friend who happens to be another dude, it doesn't mean they're gay. Not everything is about where your genitalia go. Not everything is about your identity of politics agenda nonsense. And guess what? Not everybody agrees with you that the United States of America is a police state. And guess what? Based on the November election, it means the majority of the population in this country drastically disagrees with you, Pedro Pascal. And guess what? The Fantastic Four is coming real soon. And I got my money on that one being a box office disaster. Pedro, you might not be the only problem, but you are definitely not going to help it with your division and literally crapping on over half the country. So Marvel, enjoy your box office disastrous dumpster fire. After all, you hired Pedro Pascal, you danced with the devil, and you're going to get burned come July, and I will be here to document every single second of it.